Michael is an architect by profession. He lives with his wife Donna and 2 children, Ben and Samantha. Michael's boss John promises him promotion and makes him work often, which ends up with Michael ignoring his family. But still, Michael finds joy out of the little time he gets to spend with his children before leaving for work. The kid from next door mocks Michael for having a crappy car, but Michael gains an upper hand before leaving for work. Michael reaches office late owing to traffic, and his assistant waits for him to ask permission to go pee. Michael tells her she does not need his permission to go relieve herself and heads to meet his boss. John offers Michael that he has to design a luxury hotel for a Japanese conglomerate, and he also promises Michael a promotion if he is able to seal the deal. Michael is excited to hear this but realizes that he has plans with his family. But John questions whether he has second thoughts. Michael leaves late from work and he almost misses Ben's swimming race at school. He appreciates his son for finishing the race, but Ben calls him out for lying since he just got there. Later, Ben's swimming teacher, Bill, comes to greet them and Michael is shocked to see how close Ben is with Bill. He instantly becomes jealous given how short time he gets to spend with Ben. The family sits down to have a picnic, but Michael spends all his time on the phone with his boss, which begins to annoy Michael's mother Trudy. She complains that Michael will die early if he continues to overwork and eat junk food. Because of this, Michael's father Ted entertains the kids with his coin trick. Fascinated by the trick, Ben and Samantha ask their grandfather how he managed to pull it off, but Ted responds that a magician never reveals his secrets. Ted also mentions that even Michael hasn't been able to decode his secret. Later at home, Michael tells Donna that they have to postpone the camping trip because of his upcoming project, and this causes them to argue since the kids have been planning for this for months. He manages to win the argument, saying that he only works so that the kids could have a better life than what he had. This causes Donna to go silent, and he sits down to prepare for his project by watching a documentary on Asian architecture. However, he hurts himself when he accidentally mistakes Ben's helicopter remote for the TV remote. Tired of always mixing up the remotes, Michael heads out and reaches the retail store Bed Bath & Beyond. He looks everywhere for the remote but doesn't find it. He even asks one of the staff, who ends up requesting Michael to be his friend since he doesn't have any. This causes Michael to walk around, and tired from overworking, Michael collapses on a bed, but he soon wakes up to spot a door called Beyond. He walks inside to have a look and is welcomed by a mysterious man named Morty. Michael explains about his situation and asks if they have a universal remote control. Morty reconfirms with Michael with what he just asked for and takes him further inside to a large warehouse which he calls Way Beyond. Morty then grabs a weird-looking remote and offers it to Michael for free. He tells Michael that the remote will program itself when he points and clicks the buttons. Michael is confused as to why he is given the remote for free, and Morty responds that good guys need a break every once in a while. As Michael prepares to leave, Morty also says that the remote is non-refundable, and Michael tells him that he is not going to return something he got for free. Michael reaches home and uses the remote to turn on the TV and watches the documentary. Right then, Donna comes down to tell him that she has spoken to the kids about the camping trip. Michael gives his thoughts on this while he presses the pause button to stop the TV playing, but this makes Donna freeze in the moment as well. Michael fails to notice this and he presses play again after finishing what he said. Donna moves and thinks that Michael will learn from his mistake this time. After that, he begins working on the project design. However, his dog, Sundance, comes barking and disturbs him. Michael knows that Sundance wants to go poop outside and tells him to go by himself, but Sundance continues to bark. Michael gets furious and in the moment thinks to himself if only he could lower his volume, and points the remote at Sundance and presses the volume down button repeatedly. To his surprise, he could not hear him bark anymore, but Michael thinks that all his overwork is coming to get him now. He uses the remote to bring the volume up and takes his dog out, but soon realizes that Sundance takes quite some time to pick a spot to relieve himself. Frustrated, Michael thinks of using the remote and presses the fast forward button. The remote works and Sundance quickly does what he came out to do and goes in to fall down tired. Michael is astonished and goes to do his job. After this, Michael heads out to go look for Morty and asks for an explanation. Morty points out how he mentioned that the remote is non-refundable. He instructs Michael on the menu of the remote and takes Michael to have a look into his past life. Michael gets emotional when he sees his little self play football with his friends. After this, Morty gives Michael his phone number just in case he has any questions about the remote. Michael returns home and finds that his parents will be joining them for dinner. He uses the remote to fast forward through dinner, arguments and even intercourse. However, Michael is surprised to learn that he climaxed very quickly and couldn't pleasure Donna. After that, Donna mentions that the kids are planning to have their friends over for a sleepover that weekend. Michael has no clue about what she is saying, and so he goes out to give Morty a call. Surprisingly, Morty is already at his house and he explains the situation to him. Morty says that during fast forward, his body is on autopilot. This means that only his mind has moved forward, while his body remains acting on autopilot. Morty leaves after cautioning Michael to use the remote wisely. Despite this, Michael uses the remote to fast forward through undesirable things like sickness, cold showers, and traffic. He also presents the design he made on autopilot mode to the Japanese businessman. The meeting seems to be going great, but John gets overexcited and unintentionally mocks Japan's iconic baseball players, mistaking their name for Asian dishes. This prompts the Japanese businessmen to excuse themselves and have a private conversation. John heads to the washroom and Michael, taking this chance, uses the remote to hear what they say. He uses the translate option to understand their conversation in Japanese. Michael learns that the Japanese team disliked the design, commenting that it must have been made after watching a bad documentary on Asian architecture. However, when they approach Michael and John to wrap up, Michael tears up his design and uses the overheard conversation to win over the businessman. The Japanese businessmen, though surprised just like John, get delighted and agree to give the contract to them. Michael reaches home and wakes up the kids and Donna. He gives the kids with new bicycles and Donna a new bag. When Donna inquires about the reason for Michael's joy, he reveals that John has promoted him to a partner. Donna jumps in excitement. However, Michael learns the next day that John hasn't given him the promotion and only suggested that he will be considered for it. Michael tells him that he already told his family and John tells him that is more of a reason for him to start working. Michael realizes that the project will take months for completion. Devastated by this, Michael uses the remote to pause John and fart in his mouth. This causes John to blame his assistant, thinking that she put something in his food. Michael heads home and starts working on the project. However, he gets frustrated and takes it out on his kids, who come to show him their ideas to help with his work. The kids start crying and this causes Donna to get into an argument with him. Later, Michael hears the kids talking with Donna and realizes his mistake. He is disappointed by his own actions and decides to use the remote to skip ahead to his promotion. Quite some time passes by and Michael finds himself at his promotion party. He finds out that it took a whole year to reach this point. Michael finds himself with Donna meeting with a marriage counselor. Ben and Samantha have matured and no longer wish to spend time with him. Michael finds another dog running inside the house and learns that Sundance has passed away. Michael breaks down and this confuses Donna, but she consoles him anyway. Michael promises Donna that he will change and become a better man for her. He asks her to not leave him. Michael and Donna decide to go for a round, but this triggers the remote and automatically fast forwards to the end of the intercourse. Michael once again finds an unsatisfied Donna lying next to him on bed. He is puzzled by the remote's automatic function since he did not press any buttons. He then contacts Morty, who reveals that the remote is now using its memory to execute Michael's preferences. Since Michael fast forwarded through an entire year and that accounted for a lot of intercourse skipped. Now each time he tries following his routine, the remote is going to fast forward automatically. Hearing this, Michael regrets having ever used the remote and returns the remote to Morty, but it automatically reappears in his hand. He then makes several attempts to discard and destroy the remote, but it reappears in his hand each time. Because of this, Michael goes to office on a bicycle without showering so that he can avoid the time being automatically fast forwarded. There, John tells him about his plans to retire and travel to Morocco. John's retirement would make Michael the new head of the firm. While Michael is stunned by his promotion to such a high post, John exclaims that every account Michael has worked on has turned into gold. John also comments that he wouldn't be surprised if one day Michael ended up being their company's CEO. This triggers the remote since he skipped the last promotion and Michael is fast forwarded 10 years into the future. However, he is shocked to find that he has become morbidly obese. He quickly returns home to find that Ben has become an obese guy like himself and Samantha has grown up and has started dating someone. He goes to find Donna but is shocked to learn that she has divorced him and is currently married to Bill. Enraged by their relationship, Michael attacks Bill. Donna tries to stop him but the family dog jumps on Michael, causing him to knock his head on the wall and fall unconscious. Michael gains consciousness and finds Donna is there by his side, who reveals that after he went into a coma, a scan found cancer in his body, so he had to undergo treatment and 6 years have passed. Michael is no longer fat and flaunts the extra fat to her, stating that he will do whatever he wants with it. Later at the firm, Michael meets an adult Ben, who has surprisingly lost a lot of weight. He tells Michael that he has been working out with Bill. Michael offers to take Ben, Samantha, and their grandparents out for an ice cream, but Ben reveals that Grandpa Ted has already died. This devastates Michael, who breaks into tears and visits Ted's grave. Michael then uses the remote to re-experience the time when he last saw his dad, but Morty drops by to mention that he was not with him at the moment and cannot see him. Michael wants to see the last time he met his father and learns that Ted dropped by his his office and offered to take Ben and him out for dinner. But an autopilot Michael rejected the offer without even looking at the old man. Ted continued to insist and offered to reveal the secret to his favorite childhood quarter trick, but Michael yelled at his father while revealing that he had always known the secret to the trick. Ted gets heartbroken to hear this and apologizes to Michael. Ted says that he will always love Michael and leaves with tears in his eyes. Michael gets filled with shame and guilt to see this. Morty then appears and apologizes for taking his father away, admitting that he is the angel of death. Michael gets angry to hear this and attacks Morty. However, Morty disappears into thin air and reappears behind him. Frightened, Michael asks the remote to take him to a good place and finds himself further in the future at a party. Michael is called to speak to the gathering and finds that it is Ben's wedding. Michael is also elated to see his mother and gives her a long kiss. Donna talks with Bill and goes to dance with Michael, and while they are dancing, Michael finds Samantha with Bill. He hears her calling Bill Dad, and unable to bear the pain of being replaced even as a father, Michael suffers from a heart attack. However, he wakes in the hospital that night with Ben and Samantha by his side. Before Ben and Samantha are escorted out by the nurse, Michael finds out that Ben is skipping his honeymoon because of a business deal. Fearing that Ben might make the same mistakes he made, Michael gathers the last of his strength to follow them out of the hospital. However, his body gives out and he collapses onto the ground, with his family around him. Thinking that this is the end, Michael suggests Ben to always put family first and apologizes to Samantha for not being there for her. Michael then tells Donna that he will always love her and passes away. To his shock, Michael reawakens on the bed as the staff stands next to him at Bed Bath & Beyond. Michael is elated and hugs the guy lifting him up, saying that he will be his friend. Michael runs out to find that his car is still there. He immediately reaches home, where he reassures Donna, Ben, and Samantha of his affection for them, promising to be a better husband and father. As he celebrates being home, Michael finds the remote and a note from Morty sitting on his kitchen counter. The note reads, "Good guys need a break," and says Morty knows that Michael will do the right thing this time. Realizing that his experience with the remote was a warning rather than a dream, Michael throws away the remote in the trash and gets delighted as this time it does not reappear. This movie truly shows the importance of spending time with our family and friends. Despite the state of emotion we share with them, it is all those small moments that make up the essence of the bonding in the relationship. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I shall see you again with another amazing movie like this. Until then, this is your host for Movie Recap signing off.